Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and some more Hail Caesar faction coverage. So today we're moving along and we're taking a look at the Almoravid Moors, so roughly 10th through 13th centuries AD. And it's a fun one, so we have sort of a balanced list here. We do have to take at least 25% cavalry and 25% infantry. And of that infantry, though, it has to be Berber infantry, has to be medium infantry of 50% or more for the units there. And this does not, however, include the Black Guard, so just keep that in mind in your overall composition. And then a little extra caveat on the divisions as well. So Black Guards and Hasham, wherever they're present, do have to be in the general's division. So again, keep that in mind. So you don't just get to have Black Guard, an army of nothing but Black Guard. Unless you're really just running one division, well, in that case, yeah, you could just have Black Guards. And then skirmishers at 50% there as well. So let's jump in. Not an overly long list, but again, it does a couple of neat things. So your just bog standard Berber medium infantry is another one of those cool units. Doesn't have any special rules, doesn't need to, but it does have mixed spears and or javelins and bows. So, you know, it does what medium infantry do. It's nothing super fancy. It'll do decent, but what sort of will help separate it and ideally put some damage on the enemy before hand-to-hand fighting happens is it has a short range of 3 and a long range of 2, so really it can do a little bit of everything. So good stuff overall, but you are paying 25 points a unit for it. Now the creme de la creme here of the list is the Black Guard medium infantry, and you know, you might as well load up the general's division with this because it's good stuff. So it's a pseudo heavy infantry unit, and by that we mean we have clash and sustained of 7, but we get that medium infantry morale save still. But they do come with tough fighters and stubborn, all for 28 points, and still has a short range of 3. And for 3 extra points, we might as well spend it, but we'll get long spears, and that's perfectly fine. So again, it's going to be overall your best unit in the force, so make them as good as they possibly can, and just adjust your list building appropriately wherever possible. Now, moving on from that, we do have light infantry, normal size units with bows. Again, another great long range option. The list isn't overpowered as far as range goes, but it does enough, and that's fine. So it's going to be surprisingly shooty depending on how much of that you take, and that just helps the medium infantry do that much more work, so they don't have to ideally start working on fresh enemy units. They should all really have some damage on them. But 22 points for those boys. We can take a cheaper version with them basically as small units for 14. And then we get a small skirmisher package here, so the typical javelin unit and bow units, 11 and 12 points respectively there. So we know what they do. Moving on, we get the Hasham medium cavalry guard with spears up to 1 unit. So again, it's got to be in the general's division anyway. So if we're going to take it, we got to take some cavalry anyway. Might as well take these boys. And interestingly here, we actually have an option to upgrade them to heavy. So rarely do we see a unit type change from like light to medium to heavy and stuff like that. But again, it's going to be a one of. Let's pay those 3 extra points and get heavy, because that's going to take us to 9 and 6 on the fight values, and then that awesome morale save of 4 up. And here, some more tough fighters as well. So again, it's a one of unit. Really, why would we not spend the points on that? We can definitely find 3 points. Moving on then, light cavalry has some pretty good stuff here. Interesting that these guys didn't also get the bow option, kind of like the mixed Berber unit at the top. Would have been cool, but maybe a little too much for what this list already does. Anyway, so spears and or javelins as small units, 17 points a pop there. And again, without any other restrictions, we can pay 2 more points and give them all feign flight. So basically our entire cavalry arm, because really Hasham is just the 1 unit, is going to be feign flight. There's no reason not to really spend the points on that. That's just a cool ability to have, and if you're using it right, again, can certainly help annoy the enemy. And then finally, light cavalry, camel riders with javelins as small units as well, if you want to field some of that. But I think really going with the feign flight cavalry and in quantity is going to be the way to go as far as the cavalry arm goes. Now, aside from that, you really get your choice. You know, you can go mixed again, roughly 50-50, or lean very heavily one way or the other. So whether it's 75-25, either way. But I think overall, the list does favor the infantry aspect of it. So, but it's really up to you and how you want to go. And then last but not least, we get our commanders all at leadership 8, so nothing super fancy there, but it'll do enough. So again, a good list overall. not overpowered by any means, but again, competent generalship really, I think, will make this list sing. You get that pseudo heavy infantry with the blackguard, which should be pretty fun, and having tough fighters and stubborn on a, essentially, again, like a medium infantry unit, it should be pretty cool. And then really that just great all-rounder infantry unit of the Berber medium infantry. You know, it'll do just enough, but again, using your ranged ability from the unit, plus, you know, backing that up with the other ranged aspects of the army, really should do well. Again, most enemy units, hopefully you should have some damage on them by the time you make contact, and then hopefully you can very quickly shake and rout some enemy units and punch through, and then hopefully then maybe cavalry can also break through as well. And again, your most expensive unit really is going to be that Hasham unit, so you get that one sort of silver bullet, so you definitely want to protect them from enemy missile fire and getting drawn into sort of bad positions. But, you know, again, if you can soften up things with all the other elements of the force and then find a gap for these guys, and hopefully they can punch through and really do some damage, should be a pretty potent combination. But let us know your thoughts on the Almoravid Moors, if you've fielded them, and what kind of contemporary armies you've played against and how that fared for you, or if you've been on the receiving end of these guys, and what did you have at the time and how did that list work. So drop us a comment there, like, subscribe, and we'll be back with more Hail Caesar factions very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Also, before we forget, check out the pinned comment if you do want to support the channel a little bit more. If you follow that link in the pinned comment over to Warlord and want to pick up anything really from their site using our affiliate link, that always supports the channel, and we do appreciate that. So thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.